Welcome to Talking Ball with Drew and Ethan. Sorry, I
Yeah,
slid.
it's been a minute, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Since we've been in this setting. So
yeah, it's been a while.
we're back.
Yep. Ethan's rocking his Texas Bobcat merch. I'm rocking my Make America Great Again merch.
But no, we're back in our normal setting now. Holidays are over. And hopefully we should settle down and get y'all a whole lot more content. Lots and lots of stuff has happened in the world of college football since we have last recorded.
For sure.
Transfers galore, targeting calls,
Officiating, questioning.
the second coming of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, we got it all here on Always Talking Ball.
Do we want to talk about the transfer portal first?
We'll talk about the portal since it's a lighter topic.
Okay. All right. So I actually have a list pulled up right now. So the 2025 transfer portal class as of right now. So I'll read you the top 10. So right now LSU is number 1 with 14 commits in the transfer portal. Texas Tech is number 2 with 17 commits. And then Ole Miss has 15 commits. They're number 3. Auburn has 15 commits. They're number 4. Florida State has 16. They're number 5. A&M's got 12. They're number 6. Mississippi State has 20 commits.
Golly.
Hey, well, they need it. They needed those players. Whoever they got, they needed them. They're number 7. Kentucky is number 8 with 15. Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, have 14 commits, and Wisconsin's got 18 commits, and they're number 10.
Yeah, that's quite the extensive list right there.
But hey, at least Mississippi State's got some people. I mean, they didn't really have much last year.
I mean, they didn't have much this year. Period. Honestly, they're
well, they had their starting quarterback transfer.
You know, if you had to write the word, if you had to look up the word disappointing in a dictionary, Mississippi State would be there. But 20 transfers is quite a lot, especially with there being thousands and thousands of players in the portal.
And then you add on recruiting, too.
Micah Hudson, definitely a younger guy out of Temple, Texas, coming home essentially to College Station, where he'll join a depleted wide receiver room with Noah Thomas leaving. I heard that.
Yeah, I was really shocked by that because, I mean, he's probably one of our leading receivers on the team
500
last year.
yards, 6 touchdowns. Looks,
I don't know why he left.
Very comparable to Mike Evans.
Yeah, I would say kind of a young, kind of same body frame as Mike Evans had when he was in college.
And speaking of Mike Evans, he set a record. He tied a record with Jerry Rice, 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
I did see that. Yeah, so, that's awesome.
Congratulations to him on that accolade.
I saw, I think it was the last catch he had in this week's game that they had after he made the catch. His teammates were all around him, just like hugging him, and
for sure.
Yeah, no, he's been very productive in his career in the NFL.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And he was a guy actually who in high school was a big basketball player.
Makes sense though. He's 6'5".
Yeah, he's 6'5". He's a big guy, man.
Mm-hmm.
He's huge.
I mean, when you're that tall, you're just destined to play basketball.
Dude, I bet his vertical jump is insane.
You got him throwing down windmill dunks and dunking on kids coming out of chemistry class. Yeah, those poor kids never stood a chance.
I'll tell you what, he's had one heck of a career, and he's done it all with Tampa Bay. He hasn't been with any other team. He's done it all with Tampa Bay.
Loyalty, something we don't see too much in college football nowadays.
Yeah.
So I want to go to the recap of some of last week's games. I want to start with the one that was really one-sided with the Penn State-Boise State game. That one really wasn't a super surprise to much.
No. Well, and we both said if Ashton Genty couldn't get things going in the run game, Penn State was going to have their number, and that's exactly what
He
happened.
was not the best running back in the country this week.
No, no, and Abdul Carter, Penn State's defensive end. I don't know what his status is going into the next game against Notre Dame, but he has. I think it was like some shoulder or leg injury he had. But he had a really good game. And overall, the Penn State run defense played really well. They had a week. They had about a week and a half to prepare for Ash. I mean, there's no way that they weren't not just preparing for Ashton Genty, because that's probably like the main thing they were trying to defend against, because they knew he was so good.
That's the only thing they were defending against.
Right. Well, in Boise State, and we'll talk about whether there should be maybe buys in college in the playoffs now going forward.
I mean, it's only one round. I think you need one more year to really determine is this experiment successful.
Yeah, but no, Boise State coming off that bye, they look depleted a little bit. But I'll also say turnovers at the beginning were kind of costly for them.
Yeah, they looked very sluggish.
Yeah.
I mean, they still surprised me with how long they stayed in the game.
Yeah.
Ashton Genty finished 29 yards away from the record.
Wow.
So he did not break Barry Sanders' all-time record.
No, but he finished second in the Heisman to Travis Hunter. So
yep.
I'd say that's pretty good. And he'll definitely be a first-round pick.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, and I got the team stats for both teams. I'll just share it real fast.
Yeah.
So Penn State, total yards of offense, they had 387, and Boise State actually had more yards of offense than Penn State did. They had 412.
Wow.
Passing, Boise State had more.
Wow.
304, which makes sense because they had more rushing yards. They didn't have more rushing. They had more passing yards than rushing, compared to 171, which Penn State isn't really a big pass team because they have Nick Singleton in the backfield. But Boise State only rushed for 108, which is probably one of their lowest of the year. Meanwhile, Penn State rushed for 216. Boise State averaged around 5 yards play, and Penn State averaged around 6 yards of play. So,
no, didn't Penn State play their brand of football? They play a very old school brand of football.
Yeah, they played a very physical game that Boise State just couldn't overcome at the end of it.
You turn on a TV in the 80s, it looks just like Penn State now. A very old school offense. No, a tight end wearing number 44, a quarterback.
One of the best tight ends.
I like him. He plays very much old school, and I love to watch him play.
Yeah. Yeah, both of Penn State's running backs ran really hard, and they ran really well. Nick Singleton had a rushing touchdown from around midfield that kind of sealed the game up.
Yeah, I saw that 50-yard run, and that was just demoralizing.
Yeah, so I mean, they just kind of just ran on Boise State. They just kind of took advantage of them a little bit.
Yeah, and Boise State just fell apart in that third quarter, fourth quarter. They were in the game, no doubt. But
no doubt, yeah, they were in the game. Well, and on I think it was Boise State's second or third drive, it looked like they were starting to get the run game going with Genty, and then he fumbled the ball, and then one of Penn State's defenders, it was either their corner or safety, was able to get it as he was going out of bounds. He got a foot in.
Yeah, Genty fumbled twice, and he hadn't fumbled all season. Yeah. Just a little fishy to me, but
yeah. But hey, Boise State had one of the best seasons they've had in 10 years?
Yeah, wacky things happen in that Fiesta Bowl, but that was their first Fiesta Bowl loss. Believe it or not.
Yeah, because the last time they were in the Fiesta Bowl, they beat Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
I believe on that trick play on a 2-point conversion. Yeah.
No, a game that did surprise me was the Oregon-Ohio State game. Not much to say about this one. Just complete and utter domination by Ohio State.
I'll just say that them Ducks got their butts handed to them.
I can't do the duck call anymore.
Let's see if I can do it. No, I can't do it.
R.I.P. to the Oregon Ducks. Get him out of here.
Let's just say that was ugly from the start. I mean, Ohio State gave him no breathing room whatsoever.
Jeremiah Smith has really emerged as a superstar in these playoffs.
That guy is a stud, and he's only a freshman. He's only a true freshman. Just think 2 or 3 years from now how good he's going to be. He and Ryan Williams are going to have the highest NIL deals in all of college football.
Yeah, them both dominating at a Power 5 level at this young of an age is honestly kind of special.
Yeah. Well, I've been hearing comparisons, like people are comparing him to maybe Julio Jones or just guys of that caliber. Of course, Julio Jones was a stud and when he was a freshman at Alabama. But Jeremiah Smith is a big dude too. And he doesn't look like a true freshman.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
Ryan Williams is more of a faster guy. Jeremiah Smith, he's got a right.
I would say from what I've seen, he looks like more of a beefier guy, but he's fast too. He's powerful.
Almost like a DK Metcalf, but
yeah, I like that comparison. Yeah,
I wouldn't say he's quite as tall as DK.
Yeah, and then Will Howard had probably one of his best games of the year.
Best games of his career, probably.
Yeah. Judkins had a good game. Trayvon Henderson had a good game. Jack Sawyer had a couple of batted passes.
That whole running back tandem is something special.
Both of them aren't just like one of them isn't just a power back and another just a speedy guy. Both of them have like similar traits, and they're both powerful.
Yeah, they both are almost unstoppable.
Yeah, it's like they have almost the same skill set. Not one is not like maybe a little bit slower than the other. Both are even. Like I would say they're both very even.
Yeah, and I remember early in the NCAA game, they had to patch Quinshon Junkins' spin move because people would keep on abusing his spin move in the game, and they couldn't tackle him. I'd see this dude spin like 7-8 times in a play and score a touchdown. That's probably about how he plays in real life. You know,
it is how he plays in real life.
Makes one defender miss, he's gone.
Yeah.
But not much. Not much to say about this Ohio State Oregon game.
Yeah, and I didn't see. Did you see Caleb Downs have any takeaways?
I don't know, but I know that defense played really well.
Yeah, well, they've been playing pretty well all year. They're nasty up front too. They've got some big guys at the D line, and their offensive line is huge too.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the Oregon side, man, I felt so bad for Dylan Gabriel. I mean, that was probably his worst game in his career.
Let's be honest, bro. He's had all this time to go win an important game. If he can't do it 5-6 years into his career, he's not going to be able to do it 7-8. He's well overhad his stay in college football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and Oregon's offensive line couldn't block him up front. I mean, they just got torched. And none of the receivers were really getting open, really at all.
Yeah, which sort of surprised me. So,
yeah,
what happened to that receiving core that was so great a whole season?
I don't know. They have an A&M transfer in Evan Stewart, who's had a really good year.
Tez Johnson.
Tez Johnson.
Was Tez Johnson a transfer from UNC?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. He might be.
I thought he was.
He probably was.
I thought I heard him that he played for that might be Tez Walker.
Anyways, no, Oregon's wideouts really couldn't get much separation, and they just offensively they just kind of broke down.
Yeah, that's about the way to put it.
In fact, I got the stats. So Ohio State total yards of offense had 500 total yards of offense. That's you're not going to win too many football games. You're not going to win a big game like that if you give up 500 yards of
Good
offense
old fashioned butt whooping.
compared to Oregon's 276,
Jeez.
which that came in like the third or fourth quarter.
Jeez.
And then Ohio State threw for 319, Oregon threw for 299, and Ohio State had 181 rushing yards. It says Oregon had negative 23.
Oh, I think I know why. They count sacks as rushes
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
NCAA, if y'all didn't know that.
And then Ohio State averaged almost 9 yards a play, and Oregon only averaged 4 yards a play, basically.
How about that?
So that was a good old butt whooping that Oregon.
Good old fashioned butt whooping. Good old fashioned belt to butt. Georgia and Notre Dame.
That was shocking to me.
No, I thought Georgia's defense would play a little bit better.
Yeah, I didn't think. Well, even though Beck was out, I didn't think Georgia's offense. I didn't think they were, not necessarily that they weren't going to be bad, but I didn't think that they were going to struggle how they did struggle. You know?
Yeah, we saw Riley Leonard become a helicopter that game.
Yeah. Well, and that it seemed like that offensive line for Notre Dame kind of wore down that Georgia front.
Yeah, their run game was phenomenal that game.
Which was to me that surprised me, because against Texas, they were, I mean, the first matchup in Austin, they were downright dominant. I mean, they didn't allow anything. Second game, they allowed some stuff, but not a whole lot, you know. But that was stunning to me.
No, it definitely did stun me too.
And Riley Leonard, man, transfer from Duke. Holy cow, he's got a chance to play for a national championship if they can take down Penn State.
Yeah, he's kind of the real deal, ain't he?
Yeah.
He's doing enough to win the game.
Yeah. He's got touchdown Jesus behind him, and maybe he might lead him to the promised land.
I like that one. That one was great.
I mean, they haven't been there since 1988, I think. Or I think that was the last time they won the national championship. Let me double check to make sure. Last time.
Maybe Notre Dame's been praying to the Saints or something to bless their team.
Hey, if they're going to church every week, maybe God's blessing them with
God's favor.
With a reward. Yeah. Definitely. Ugo was kind of left in the dust on that one.
We all love the Irish, and I'll be rooting for them. They're probably my favorite team. Gonna be one of my favorite teams to root for going forward.
Yep, Notre Dame won it in 1988. That was the last time they won the national championship.
My dad wasn't even in college yet. Go Notre Dame. Go Fighting Irish. I wish them all the luck going forward.
Yeah. I wonder what Georgia's quarterback situation is going to be next year.
I saw Jalen Rashada is transferring out. Gunnar Stockton, I think, is just left there to pick up the scraps.
Yeah, which it's not an easy thing.
Well, and I think Georgia's doing really well in the portal. They got one of USC's best playmakers, Zachariah Branch.
Yeah, and they're going to recruit really well
every year.
Yeah, they've had like a top 5 class for the past 7 or 8 years, so there's certainly no problem in that.
Yeah, category. Recruiting will never be an issue for them.
No.
But moving on to probably my favorite game of the past week, Arizona State and Texas.
Texas nearly pulled an A&M. A&M led 24-7 to USC. Somehow they found a way to lose that. Texas led 24-8 against Arizona State, and they were very fortunate to come out of that. I mean, holy cow!
Yeah, I think with all the bailouts that Texas got, I think there's a little money exchanged under the table, but it's crazy how they escape another game.
Well, I wonder if the field goal. I wonder if Auburn, Texas's field goal kicker, felt a little bit more pressure when when Sark went over to him
No,
to talk.
I saw this funny clip, and Nick Saban's like, "You never go and talk to this guy," and Nick Saban was just hysterically laughing. He's like, "You never go and put more pressure on the kicker in that moment."
Well, Saban. Well, I saw that clip too. Saban was like, in my how many years of coaching he had, he never did that.
You don't go talk to the kicker; it just makes it worse.
I mean, you don't take him. I mean, kickers have a routine. You don't take the kicker out of their routine. You know.
Kickers, man, kickers are a special breed. They're either really
Yeah.
good all the time, or they have one bad moment that all college football will remember them in history. And honestly, we're gonna remember Burt Auburn for that legendary game he gave us.
I still think that's funny that Sark pulled him over and just gave him a little pep talk before he missed. I mean, I think it bounced off the left upright too. That was fun. He had two missed field goals, I think.
Yeah, he kept Arizona State in the game,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
loved. I was so excited watching. Arizona State was so much fun to watch that day.
yeah. Well, and but Texas converting on that 4th and 13. I don't know why Arizona State. It seemed like they brought like 5 or 6 guys to pressure Ewers. They had nobody in this. They had one person covering Matthew Golden, or actually they had their safety back there, and they had a corner. But like in that position,
Why are they bringing Engage 8?
a full out blitz where you need a cover.
That defensive coordinator sold the refs sold. Arizona State should have won that game.
Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have brought a blitz. Maybe bring 2 guys and then have everybody like don't play prevent or anything, but at least bring 4 or 5
I think
guys.
prevent would have even been better there, though.
Really?
Yeah, they had to throw it in the end zone.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I just think a 4 or 5 man rush to put Ewers in that uncomfortable position because we've known that he's had an ankle issue for the past couple of weeks. I don't know what his status is on that.
Yeah, and Levitt had an ankle issue during that game too, is what I heard in an interview with Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah, and we'll get to Nick Scatterboo in a second, but man, Matthew Golden, he gave Texas an early New Year's Eve present.
Bailed him out, to be honest.
Yeah. And then Nick Scatterboo.
Cam Scatterboo.
Sorry, Cam
Scatterboo.
Yeah.
Man, he was electric.
He was a beast. He had a passing touchdown, which that was one of the best throws by a running back I've seen all year.
I loved his celebration at the end.
Yeah. And then he had a rushing touchdown. He had a 2-point conversion. I mean, he left everything out on that field, man.
That catch.
And then he just was like, yeah, no, get off
Bro
me.
is so tough.
Yeah, he got his helmet ripped off. That was what, an extra 5 or 10 yards.
He got Peach Bowl offensive MVP while losing that game.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave it to him during his press conference. That was a crazy game. I mean, it looked like Texas was about to just kind of shove Arizona State out of the way, and then here comes Cam Scatterboo throwing an absolute dot to number 12 to get into the end zone, and then he has a rushing touchdown 2-point conversion to tie the game.
Arizona State was like one receiver away. They had their top wideout out. They were one guy away from winning that game.
Can we talk about the targeting?
You know what, dude? Let's do it. I'm ready to piss off some Texas fans.
I'm gonna pull up something, okay? So I've seen I've just seen on social media and some comments about, well, if they would have called that targeting, they would have had to call remember when Isaiah Bond got hit kind of in the shoulder on that interception? I'm gonna say this. There's no way in heck that's targeting. He hit him in the shoulder. Sure, did his helmet hit him in the shoulder? Yeah, but it wasn't head-to-head contact.
Hey guys, Editor Allison here. I'm going to be cutting in a couple of times during this segment to show some research I've been doing behind the scenes. But specifically, I want to show the foul that Drew is talking about right now. I'm going to go into more detail about what the actual legalities of targeting include, but all you need to know right now is that 1, this guy did not lead with his helmet. He actually led with his shoulder pads, which you can see right here. And second of all, he hit the other guy's shoulder pads. So it was shoulder to shoulder. It was perfectly clean hit. No intention to harm here. Back to the boys.
When the player's health is at risk, is when it becomes targeting.
Right. Now, if it was straight helmet to helmet, sure, that would have been targeting.
Totally.
But it was a clean hit. And in fact, I would argue too that the player's helmet, it wasn't just his helmet that hit, it was part of his shoulder that hit as well. If you look at the replays, you can see part of his shoulder.
Pads for a reason, dog. Like that, they're there for protection.
Yeah.
Protection.
Yeah. And actually, let me hang on. Definition of targeting. Definition. I know we're probably ticking people off, but we got to go over this because there's no.
We don't know what targeting is anymore.
In football, targeting is when a player makes forcible contact with the head or neck of a defenseless opponent using their helmet, forearm, hand, elbow, or shoulder. Right, and he was going for a catch. But for one, the Michael Taft hit, that should have been targeting, man.
That was dirty, dude.
And I would argue that he was using the crown of his helmet as well.
It was head-to-head contact. You could see it visually.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how that's not targeting.
Dude, I kind of want to, golly, Texas never ceases to make me mad. They have made me mad in every single way possible. They ruined a great game by a great player. That Cam Scatterbo could have had, he should have won that game. If it wasn't for that targeting call, we would be talking about Arizona State, Ohio State in the next round.
Well, in the catch that Arizona State had, that Michael Taft literally hit him in the head. That was a defenseless guy.
He can't do anything in that situation.
And he was on the ground for quite a bit of time too.
What is he supposed to do in that situation to protect himself?
I don't know, but like you said, I really don't know what targeting is anymore. I don't. I mean,
just like I don't know what a catch is anymore.
I don't know, or what a hold is anymore. I don't know.
We don't know what these rules are. What kind of refs are we hiring nowadays?
Well, you're in luck because I did some digging and I found the official NCAA football rulebook. So we're going to talk about exactly what is considered targeting and why this foul was complete crap. Alright, so here's the PDF. There will be a link to this in the description as well as instructions on where to find this in the rulebook. Targeting and making forcible contact with the crown of the helmet. No player shall target and make forcible contact against an opponent with the crown of their helmet. The crown of the helmet is the top segment of the helmet, namely da-da-da-da-da. This foul requires that there be at least one indicator of targeting. We'll get to that in a second. And when in question, it is a foul. Let's keep this in mind. So first, let's go ahead and defend the fact that a defenseless player was hit. The specific example that we're going to use here, receiver attempting to catch a forward pass or in a position to receive a backward pass, or one who has completed a catch and has not had time to protect themselves or has not clearly become a ball carrier. So let's look at the footage. No time to recover, so that's definitely considered a defenseless player, and even the rule expert who was watching this was like, yeah, that's a defenseless player. So now we're left with the indicators of targeting as described in this rulebook. This foul requires that there be at least one indicator of targeting. There are actually three. There's the crouch as well with these other two, but I mean a crouch is pretty typical for most tackles, so we're going to ignore that one. That's a weird one. But here we go. Leading with the helmet, shoulder, forearm, fist, or hand or elbow to attack with forcible contact at the head or neck area. So let's see if he does in fact lead with his helmet. This freeze frame shows here that literally his helmet is the first part that connects, so yeah, he was leading with it. The other big thing here is, now that we've determined he's leading with the helmet, lowering the head before attacking by initiating forcible contact with the crown of the helmet. As we have established earlier, the crown of the helmet is the top segment of the helmet, namely the circular area defined by a 6-inch radius from the apex of the helmet. Let's look at the footage. Once again, the same freeze frame shows that not only is he leading with the helmet, he's leading with the crown of the helmet. So by all accounts, this should be targeting. Unless there's something here that I'm missing, again, this will be in the description, there's literally no reason why this shouldn't be targeting. Even if the Arizona thing was targeting, 2 wrongs don't make a right, this is still pretty messed up.
Well, and I'm not trying to be whatever, but I mean, we'll never know if Arizona State would have gotten in field goal range. I mean, they could have, but would their field goal kicker would have made it?
And
I mean,
something interesting that I saw is that he kicked it, it got blocked, and it bounced in the field goal post. Should that?
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did see that.
Should that count?
Yeah. I don't know. But I mean,
I don't know if that's a rule or not, but I think it should totally be added. I don't think it would happen very often, so I think it should just totally be added.
But that should have been at least a 10 or 15-yard penalty. At least.
Michael Taft would have been ejected from the game.
And he would have been ejected from the first half of the Ohio State game.
That would have been a huge blow for Texas.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I'm done with my rant, but yeah, I did not think that Isaiah Bond, that should have not been targeting. It wasn't, but it should not have been targeting. That Michael Taft helmet to helmet should have been targeting. That's all I have to say.
I think Texas is going to get what's coming to them. Cam Scatterby was throwing up on the sidelines during the middle of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he was laying his dang life out.
That's just something I wanted to add, for that. But yeah, let's get to preview these games. Or let's do the Penn State Notre Dame game.
I think Notre Dame's offensive line, I think, is going to win. If they're going to win, I think it's going to win them the game.
Yeah, they've been O-line university the past couple of years.
Yeah. Well, and Riley Leonard, the toughness that he showed against Georgia, and just the throws he made too, were really spot on.
Just to name a few guys that Notre Dame has sent to the league in terms of linemen: Quentin Nelson, Joe Alt, just to name a couple.
Yeah.
They know to send the fat boys to the NFL.
Notre Dame's defense is pretty dang good too. They're big up front too. They got some dudes.
Just fundamental defense. That's that they don't make a whole lot of mistakes.
Mm-mm.
You may hit them with like a 3 or 4 yard gain, but like they don't make a whole lot of mistakes in the secondary or with linebacker play. They play mistake-free football.
Right.
You can't really expose them on a whole lot. If I'm being totally honest, what was that safety's name for Notre Dame? Is it Watts?
Yes.
He played a really solid game, but Gunnar Stockton played well. So that Notre Dame defense really was the definition of bend don't break. On the other hand, Penn State's offense is pretty good.
Yeah, I think that'll be. I think if Penn State's able to run the football with Nick Singleton and 13, I don't know what his last name is, but I'll just say 13. It could wear down Notre Dame's defense if they can do that all game.
Oh, for sure. Sure.
Because like we said, Penn State's not a big passing team. They're more of like a run, hard nose, run at the gut kind of team.
Throw it to the tight end.
Yeah. Run it with Drew Aller if he needs to.
Drew Allard is coming back for a senior season. And this is something they'll continue to have year after year. Good tight end play. They'll have a good receiver mixed in there every once in a while. Running back play is off the charts per usual.
Do we want to get to our predictions?
Yeah, let's do it. I think
Okay.
with the way Notre Dame has played, especially against an SEC opponent, that really sells it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And since I think they can handle the physicality of an SEC O-line, I think they'll dominate up front. They'll control time of possession, and they'll win.
So let's see. So Penn State, they got Nick Singleton, Drew Aller, Carter, the tight end. They've got Abdul Carter. We'll see if he plays, which could have a big impact on their defense. But Notre Dame's got Riley Leonard at quarterback, Jeremiah Love, a trio of receivers and a defense. But Notre Dame's won 13 in a row since that loss to NIU. I've got Notre Dame playing in the national championship game for the first time since 2012 when they got creamed by Alabama.
Yeah, give me Notre Dame, and give me Notre Dame by 10.
I'm going the Irish. I think Penn State will make it a good game, but I think Notre Dame. I don't know. I just had that gut
When
feeling.
you
I
think
think they
gritty,
pull it.
you think of Notre Dame. You think someone who can squeak out any type of win, no matter what.
Yeah, and they pull out some really good wins too.
They squeak it out. They don't. It doesn't have to be pretty.
All right, well, I think that's it for talking ball with Drew and Ethan. See you later.